Almost Shabbat Shalom. Almost Shabbat Shalom with three trees. Three trees in the middle. Some seals are calling. There's a pelican flying over there. This is the best we can do with showing you where I am without getting the noise of the wind. But happy Friday. Happy Friday. Oh, there's the camera going crazy again. Okay. So, I will start, and whoever joins us, joins us. It's always a joy to have anybody who is joining. All right, so here we are. So I'm at the part of the Portofino Hotel in Redondo. Beautiful day out, gorgeous day. Sunshine is back in La La Land, and it's just nice. It's just windy, so I'm here inside. And so it's interesting this weekend. It's interesting. This weekend we are in the beginning of the month of Nisan. The month of Nisan is the spring month. The month of Nisan is the beginning of the beginnings. We're soon heading into Passover, which is the beginning of the year, of the calendar year, not the Gregorian, but the calendar year, because this is really, I'll talk about this as we get closer to the time. But the month of Nisan is a beginning. Nisan comes from the word also Nitzan. And Nitzan is the blooming of the flower. When the flower starts blooming, it starts, when there is just the bud. When we see the bud and we think, there's potential here. There's potential. What's the potential? The potential will be manifested if we can provide the bud, the plant, its right environment, right? If I won't water the plant, if I won't give it sun, if I won't give it warmth, the plant won't grow. So that's Nitzan. So this is the beginning of the beginnings where we can rejuvenate everything that we've been through until now, take into the new mix and see what is coming up. Now, with the growth, there is growing pain. So it's very easy to be pulled back into what we're familiar with, to be pulled back by fear, to be pulled back by, maybe I should be here and not here. Maybe I should go to a place where I'm familiar with, where it's nice, rather than taking yourself and, like the bud, Nitzan, to bloom up. So the right environment will provide the blooming, Nitzan, like the month of Nisan, will provide the right environment to grow. Right? Just like any plant, like us. Now, the portion is talking about, the portion of the Torah, VaYikra, is calling it VaYikra, and God called Moses. I'll talk about this word call, like, what am I, your friend? What are you calling me? But we'll get to that. But the point is that it talks about sacrificing. Now in Hebrew, and suddenly when I talk about Hebrew, I have this Hebrew accent. But in Hebrew, when you say the word sacrifice, korban, comes from the word, a second word, litkarev, to get close. Which means, if you think about it, when we sacrifice from ourselves, when we give from ourselves, we feel closer. When we give to somebody that doesn't have something, we feel closer to that person. Not in the sense of, I know who you are, where you live, what you like, what you don't like. We feel closer in a global, in a galactic level, if you will. If you really dive into it and you feel the time of giving, when you give somebody something, and it could be as small as anything, and it could be as large. When we give, there is this sense of closeness. So there is this korban. And what are we sacrificing? So there are the levels of the Torah, Pshat, Remez, Drash, Sod, the four layers of the Torah. The story, the hint, the deep diving, deep studying, and the mystery. And each layer has its own 70 attributes, 70 ideas on how to approach every aspect. So when when we're giving something, when we're sacrificing, what talks in the portion is sacrificing certain kind of meats, certain kind of things. So what to sacrifice? Those are reflections of our own sacrifice. When we sacrifice to to get closer spiritually, what do we sacrifice from within ourselves? What do we bring forth to get closer? Right? So it's really bringing us to look at what can we give from us to get closer. To get closer to who? To get closer, first of all, to ourselves, to our authentic self. And when I say authentic, I'm taking into consideration that authentic can be dynamic, because my authenticity today is not my same authenticity 5 years ago. So 5 years ago, I was somewhere else and said, when I was there, I wanted to be that person. I felt authentic in that way 5 years ago. Today, I feel authentic in a certain way today. So authenticity is dynamic. So, but listening at this time of sacrifice, time of renewal, time of feeding my soul, what am I feeding myself with? I'm sacrificing something that I want to get closer to. So if you are in a relationship, what do you sacrifice in that to get closer to that person? If you're not in a relationship, you're talking to anybody, you're meeting somebody on the street, and you give something to somebody, you're sacrificing, you're giving from yourself to that person. That automatically creates this bond. When we give, we create a bond. It's as simple as that. Now, VaYikra, if you look at the scriptures, there are several places in the Torah that there are small letters. And VaYikra ends with the first letter of the alphabet. And the first letter of the alphabet is small in comparison to the regular font size, is smaller. And that's to show humility, because when I'm calling you, hey, come here for a second, that's more like a friendly kind of, hey, I'm a friend. Come on. But Moses wants to say here that I'm humble. When God calls me, I'm not his friend. I'm not somebody who I see him on a regular basis, or maybe I am, but I'm not in that level. So I'm going to to humble myself, and put a small aleph at the end of the letter, so it's VaYikra, with an understanding that he's not your friend. You're being called upon, but he is not your friend. So that's in a way a sacrificing of my own ego to somebody who is superior than me, somebody who is in a different position. Let's say I go take a job, and you are at a certain age, and your boss is 25 years old. What can you do? You're taking something. I'm just giving an example, right? So sometimes it is hard for somebody who is 60 or 50 to be supervised by somebody who's 25 or 30. Who's like, listen, what do you know in life? I have a little bit more experience, yada yada, all these kind of things. That is accepting the situation, accepting ruling, accepting the governing system that is already in place. Doesn't matter how it looks like, but accepting governments, the governing system that is already in place, which brings me to a place of humbleness, brings place of accepting, bring place of sacrificing for my own self to get closer. What do I get closer? First, I get closer to myself. First, I get closer to my authentic self, which I said was dynamic to begin with. But at this point of time, you may be in this place. So it's really getting closer. When if you notice, when you give something to somebody, whether it is somebody on the street, whether it is a homeless person, whether it's somebody you're just sending a gift, or you're supporting in some kind of a project that they're having on a Head Start, there is some kind of a connection, some kind of feeling connected. Why? Because you feel vested, you feel somewhat connected to that person. Also, if it's through media and all these kind of things, you feel you have a part in it. And that brings closer. And that is the key, really, of everything that we talk about. We can talk every different subjects every week, but the bottom line is of everything is ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha, is love to your friend in the same way that you love to yourself. Wish the best for your friend or for the neighbor the way that you wish for yourself. And if you are in that place, then naturally you'll be kind, naturally you'll be respectful, naturally you will be loving, you will be accepting. You don't have to love the person because you don't live with the person or you don't know the person right away. But you love the existence of that person and the teachings that we can receive from each one of us, and we're all connected. We're all connected. Look at how you meet certain people. You may meet certain people based on a subject, based on a hobby. Let's say you go to a club of model airplane building. Wow. I used to do it when I was a kid. You meet people there, and from there you have a common bond, a common connection, kind of like a common denominator. The common denominator is this model building or this course or card games or whatever that is, right? And you have something that is in common, and from that you can spur out and branch out and find different things that you may have in common. But we're all connected. So when we're all connected and we give from ourselves, we seal the deal. And that is the bottom line of everything. We can talk about different themes every week and work and the whole thing. The bottom line is this. The bottom line is this: to look at where we are today, at what is happening today, at the world and the leaders, or quote unquote leaders of the world that are controlling everything and are desperate. They are desperate. They are desperate to create division. They are desperate to create division. They are desperate to create animosity between us. They are desperate to create confusion. And if we give in to that, then A, we didn't sacrifice anything to get closer. We held back. And when we held back, we're not getting closer, that's for sure. But the attempt and some places they succeed to create this division is causing this violence, is causing this animosity between people, it's causing so many things that only in hindsight we can look and say, oh yes. But here's the thing. History repeats itself because people do not want to remember history, and people do not and choose not to remember history. That's why history repeats itself. That's why some people believe that the Holocaust did not exist. And history repeats itself. And some people believe that this land belongs to them because of their forefathers, but they don't look at the history to understand that it is not correct historically and factually. So to come together, so all these issues are brought forth by those who do not want us to think critically, by those who do not want us to sacrifice for one another, by those who do not want us to be closer to one another. Because once we're closer and united with one another, they are poof, they're gone, they're kaput, they're kibinimat, they're gone, they're flats, they're gone, that's it. And when the beast is afraid, the beast attacks. And this is what's happening now. This is what happened with the corona. This is what happened with politics. If you haven't seen the movie Wag the Dog, go see that movie, because they'll give you exactly what is happening. Stanley Kubrick, the director, was known for inserting messages in his movies about what is happening with the government and their employers. And he was clipped for that. So sacrifice for the other person. Look at everything as we are together, as we are here to grow and to be stronger and bigger as a society and as individuals. So sacrifice from yourself so we can get closer. Shabbat Shalom.